who wins the Champions League. As we know, the Champions League is back this week, the greatest club competition in the world as far as I'm concerned. There are 8 teams left in this prestigious tournament where only one can come out as the winner. The question is, who will that be? Hello, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Sani-That sports guy talking all things sport. And of course, today we're speaking football and we're speaking the Champions League because it's back. And we need to find out whether Arsenal, Man City are the favourites that people claim they are to be, or whether there's another team in the shadows that can actually win the Champions League. I mean, what a way for the Champions League to return. We've got Arsenal, Bayern and Real Madrid, Man City on the same day. What game are you going to watch? Only God knows when you put on the TV, because it's a flip of the coin, because they're both tantalising prospects in terms of the matchups. Of course, as we know, Arsenal are playing at home to Bayern, whereas Real Madrid host Man City. The question is, though, are Bayern Munich that team that people claim they are to be? Because I don't think they are. When I saw Man United versus Bayern earlier on in the season, I was at Old Trafford, and although, yes, us as a Man United team weren't that great, I wasn't amazed by Bayern. They were still in second gear, so yeah, you can say they weren't that same team, but I don't think they were that good that I thought, yeah, they can go on to win the Champions League. Yeah, they have the likes of Harry Kane in their team, Joshua Kimmich, to name a few, but the thing is, I just don't think they're that same Bayern team of a couple of seasons ago where they won that treble, where they actually instill that fear. Because in 2024, Arsenal haven't lost a single game at home. They're on such a great run at the moment. They're playing such great football. They're keeping clean sheets. They're tight at the back and going forward, they'll score goals, and Bayern will be scared of that. As we know, recently Bayern haven't been in great form. They lost to Leverkusen, they lost to Dortmund. They're not picking up great wins. They're not playing great football, and Tuchel is a manager on the way out. He hasn't got anything to play for anymore. The league's pretty much lost to Leverkusen, not in the cup, and they're not playing great, especially in the Champions League. As we know, in the last round, they lost the first leg to Lazio, and when it comes to this leg at the Emirates, I don't fancy him. I think Arsenal are going to win the game, and I think they'll progress from this tie. And Arsenal are going to have such great confidence going into not only the Champions League, but going into the Premier League, thinking, yeah, we can win both competitions. And I tell you what, I've got a good feeling Arsenal are going to go far in the Champions League, because they'll be making the semi-final, but what's to say they can't make the final, especially with Mikel Arteta ball. On the other hand, you've got Real Madrid, Man City, and it's a repeat of what happened last season and even the season before, when these two teams keep meeting each other in the knockouts of the Champions League, and they put on a great spectacle. And I tell you what, this has the makings of a great spectacle. However, this is all Man City. Yeah, people are saying Man City aren't the same team of seasons gone by, but the way they turn it up, especially in Europe, they have the quality to beat any team. Yeah, Real Madrid are likely to win La Liga this year, but I just don't think in the Champions League they have what it takes to win it. You can't rely on Jude Bellingham to always bail you out. You need other players to come to the fore. And yeah, they have the likes of Vinicius Jr. and Rodrigo, especially coming to the fore this season. I just don't think Real Madrid have the defence to be able to compete against that. And as we know, Courtois' injury hasn't exactly helped them as well. I think Man City will control that game, although I do think Real Madrid will be gaming that game specifically. I think Real Madrid won't actually progress from the tie, because I think it's going to be an all-English semi-final with Arsenal playing Man City, and what a two-legged affair that's going to be. As we know, the other two semi-finals are Paris Saint-Germain versus Barcelona, as well as Borussia Dortmund versus Atletico Madrid. And with that game being Borussia Dortmund Atletico Madrid, what a game that's going to be. And I think Atletico Madrid do have that team that will progress in this tie. They have that resolve, they have that mentality to go deep in the Champions League, and they'll be making the semi-finals at least, because I think they'll progress in that game. But the other games, what I really want to focus on, Paris Saint-Germain versus Barcelona. We all know what happened a couple years ago when Paris Saint-Germain beat Barcelona 4-0 in the first leg, and then in the second leg, we all know what happened at the Nou Camp. The miracle at the Nou Camp, some people say, others will say it would be a bit dubious, but nevertheless, that 6-1 game was unbelievable. And of course, the same thing will happen here, because the first leg will be at Parc des Princes. And I think Paris Saint-Germain are somewhat going under the radar of the Champions League this year. People aren't expecting too much of them this season. And me personally, I do think with this being Mbappe's last season, he has the opportunity to win the one trophy that Paris Saint-Germain have always desired but never got their hands on. And with this season being that year that there aren't many expectations of Paris Saint-Germain, it might work in their favour. People underestimate them to the extent that they don't actually fancy them going through this tie. But I think they do go through this tie. Yeah, Barcelona have their issues with Xavi and their team, and the fact that they have had patches this year where it hasn't really worked out for them. But I think their defence can be got at, and that midfield isn't the same anymore, where I think PSG can actually win this tie, and I think they do progress over 2 legs. So that leaves Arsenal, Man City, and Paris Saint-Germain and Atletico Madrid. And the question is, who comes out with them? That Arsenal, Man City can go either way. As we know, Arsenal have gone toe-to-toe with Man City, and they've done a great job this season. They won at the Emirates, and they drew at the Etihad. Something they haven't done since the 2015 season in terms of getting a result there. So they've done really well this year. But the Champions League is a whole different kettle of fish. This is Pep Guardiola's bread and butter. He knows what works. And at the end of the day, what would you rather win? Another league or the fact that he can go back-to-back in the Champions League and win his 4th European crown. I know if I was Pep Guardiola, I know exactly what I'd want to do. And I think he's going to go for the Champions League. Whether he progresses from this tie is another question, because Mikel Arteta is also game as well. He's a young upstart with much to prove. And imagine if he wins the Champions League and has that on his CV, he'll be crowned as the new king-elect. And to beat his master as the apprentice would definitely be a claim to fame. But unfortunately, I think it's Man City's time again to progress to the final, because I think Man City go ahead on those 2 legs. And as for the other one, Paris Saint-Germain, Atletico Madrid, I'm going to say Atletico Madrid, because although it's not Valentine's Day, the romantic inside me does want Diego Simeone to win the Champions League. His passion alone would be enough for me to be amazed by what Atletico Madrid have done, especially with that budget. And yeah, people are going to say, oh, but this budget, he spent a lot of money. You have to live within your means. Atletico Madrid aren't those big spenders of seasons gone by. And in the modern day, what he spends is pretty reasonable if you ask me. The fact that year on year, season upon season, he puts these sides that are very competitive in the Champions League and also La Liga goes to show what a tremendous job he's done. And this is where I think he does make the Champions League final. Yeah, I do think people are underestimating Paris Saint-Germain. Over 2 legs, I think Simeone has that football to nullify Mbappe and Paris Saint-Germain and actually go through to the final, where he'll meet Man City. And yeah, the stars are aligned for a Man City to potentially do a back-to-back treble, although I don't think that will happen. But a back-to-back Champions League will be absolutely seismic for Man City, and for me as a Man United fan, would be absolutely devastating. Because as a Man United fan, we've won 3 European Cups. Winning 2 for Man City would put them 1 behind us. And what's more is the fact they do it back-to-back. Something Fergie and something the great late Sir Matt Busby never managed to do either. So it goes to show the gravity of what's on the line here. And maybe, again, like I said, I might be romantic here, but I think this could be Atletico Madrid's year, where all the chips align, that they do win the Champions League, and Simeone has that one great moment that has eluded him his whole career by winning the Champions League. But of course, this is all speculation. Who knows? Maybe Arsenal make the final. Maybe Barcelona make the final. Maybe the kings of the competition, Real Madrid, make the final. And maybe, just maybe, Harry Kane might have his opportunity to finally win a trophy within the Champions League. But it's all speculation. And although I'm not a betting man, I'd love to hear what your bets are when it comes to who wins the Champions League. Thank you very much for watching, guys. I really appreciate it. A quick preview of what's to come in the Champions League. We've got obviously games this week and next week, and the semi-finals will come through thick and fast. Before we know it, the final will be here and at Wembley. And who knows, maybe I will see you there on a Sani sesh. But I'd love to hear your thoughts on this week's Champions League games. Who comes through those ties? Real Madrid versus Manchester City, Arsenal, Bayern, Paris Saint-Germain versus Barcelona, of course, Atletico Madrid versus Borussia Dortmund. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. But as always, guys, thank you very much for watching. Make sure to smash a like if you haven't already done so. Share with your friends and family if you haven't already done so. And subscribe to Sani-That Sports Guy. But as always, until next time, peace.